Hi, everyone. Welcome to our April 2022 Fifth Window Spotlight. My name is Charlene Platon, CEO and co-founder of Fifth Window, and we host these monthly spotlight events to highlight nurses and their journeys of self-care, and also to highlight the diverse profession of nursing. And so for today's spotlight, we'll be able to screen questions and comments that are mentioned during the conversation. And this is a live stream conversation, so if you do have anything that you'd like to mention, and if you're tuning in from LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, please feel free to drop a comment in the chat, and then we'll do our best to answer your questions or respond to your comments. And so now I'd like to get started by introducing the Fifth Window team. So I'll go ahead and have Kathy introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy Schaefer. I'm a co-founder of Fifth Window, as well as a registered nurse and a compassion fatigue professional.
Great. And Michael?
Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Horn. I am also a co-founder of Fifth Window. I'm a professional app developer, and I'm the lead developer on the Fifth Window app.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now we're really honored to introduce our April 2022 Fifth Window Spotlight guest, Ashley Hidalgo. And Ashley is a true life lover, adventure seeker, and obsessed with all things wellness. She's been a nurse for a little over 2 years, working in the cardiac procedural field, and has been travel nursing for the last year. She knew she wanted to be a nurse at a very young age and entered working in the healthcare industry at 17. Throughout all these years of getting to work with patients of all ages in inpatient roles, it became clear to Ashley how treating your body well at an early age can help prevent many diseases that lead to lifelong health, and how impactful it can truly be. After going through a couple of rough years that challenged Ashley's mental and physical well being, she became completely honed in on wanting to get better for herself, because she knew at the end of the day, if she wanted to take care of others, she had to take care of herself first. Her love for fitness became a passion as it helped her calm her anxiety, and dedicating to eating even more clean became a way for her to feel good from the inside out. Her therapy sessions became a way for her to cope, to vent, and to find solutions for many things in life, and something that's still going on because she feels that working on herself is not a one stop shop. It's an ever changing process as many things continue to shape our lives, and learning how to deal with them is important. And so, changing someone's outlook or physical health because of something that she recommends is the impact that she longs for, and what fills her half of her cup every single day. Ashley's current goal is to continue to show people how to better themselves from the inside out, and her next nursing goal is to become a family nurse practitioner, specializing in integrative medicine while using holistic techniques to decide what treatment would be best for the health of her patients. Welcome, Ashley. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I feel absolutely honored to be here speaking with you guys.
Absolutely. And we wanted to, just get started learning about you. Your nursing background is so amazing, and just love hearing about your advocacy of wellness. And just to start, we just want to hear about your nursing journey. So tell us about how you became a nurse.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, I knew that I wanted to become a nurse from a very young age. I knew that I wanted to work in a field where I can have an impact on people and patients. I remember around 17 years old, I started volunteering in a hospital. I was on a critical care unit, and I fell completely in love with the impact that nurses can have on people. And some of their more just moments of despair, and just even the smallest things that you can do for people leave such a big impact. And that was where I just knew that this was the field for me. So I started volunteering from a very young age. Later on, I became a nursing assistant. I did that for about 6 years. I did that throughout nursing school, and that's where I kind of, whether I had any doubts, I was like, absolutely not. This is the job for me. The way that I was able to connect with people when they were down or happy or angry or sad, the feeling that I got after speaking with people and just interacting with them and doing small things for them, I just fell in love with it. I knew that nursing was for me from the very beginning, and going through all those years, speaking with different types of people, just helping them whenever I can. That's just how I got into it, and I don't ever want to leave this field.
That's great. Thank you. I think every nurse has their own journey and how they come to be. Even if they don't first start out, at a young age, you knew right off the bat. But there are others of us who try other things and we come to nursing. But the passion is always there, right? From the
Yes.
moment you learn to maybe you decided another time you want to be a nurse, and that's really great to hear. So, how did you get into travel nursing, if I can ask?
Yeah, so I am someone who has always loved to travel
Hmm.
pre-nursing. Um, and while I was in nursing school, I realized that that would be an opportunity that I can have once I finish school. Um, I knew that I had to have some sort of experience to be able to enter this field as well. Um, so it wasn't up until maybe my second year of nursing, or I think I was about to finish my first year of nursing, where I was at my job. I was working in a hospital in Florida, and I was struggling a little bit financially. I became a little bit just like stagnant in the work that I was doing. Like I knew that there was more opportunities out in the world. Um, and I live a life of exploration, and I just knew and I had this calling that travel nursing was for me. So I just took the steps and I took initiative and I signed up for different companies, signed up with different recruiters. I got to talking with them. I realized like, hey, I can actually do this. I can actually grow from this even more as a person and as a nurse, just stepping into different opportunities in different fields. And yeah, I kind of hopped into it and I'm so happy that I did.
That's great. That's great. So, as a travel nurse, can you maybe identify any, maybe the most rewarding and yet the most stressful aspects of travel nursing?
Yeah, definitely. Um, I think one of the most rewarding things about travel nursing is the amount of growth that
Mhm.
a person can go through because you are constantly stepping into these different roles. You're constantly meeting new people. You're constantly meeting different patients. And you're constantly being put in these situations where you have to either think quickly or you just kind of have to step out of your comfort zone. That has to be by far the most rewarding thing for me thus far. Um, I just want to continue growing as a person, and having to step into different roles all the time is pretty exhilarating for me. I think one of the more just our hardships is just because you are constantly stepping into different environments all the time, it can get a little, I won't lie, it is a little bit exhausting, just a tiny bit, almost just having to hit that restart button every single time. And sometimes maybe you won't catch on to things as quickly. Maybe sometimes you won't know where certain things are way later on, or, maybe something is going wrong with the onboarding process of your, just like the papers or any certificates you need to hand in. But it's all a learning process. And I feel like the end result, which is just meeting new people, being more financially stable, and just getting to explore different things makes it all worth it.
So, I would imagine that you did a lot of travel assignments through the pandemic, right?
So I started travel nursing only about 1 year ago, and
Okay.
I've had a little different experience because I got into it doing vaccination support,
Oh,
and that's what I've been doing for the past year, pretty much. It's been a lot of fun, and it's also been very rewarding.
mm,
I think one of the most rewarding things, and one of the things that I remember the most, was in my first assignment. I was out in Laurel, Maryland, and I remember this one patient in particular. I explained to her about the vaccination. I was telling her about side effects, and it was, okay to get her consent. And she just started crying. She was
mm.
absolutely bawling, and she was, a little more elderly, and she was just like, this is the first time that I feel um happy because she was able to see her grandchildren after the vaccines and after all that was given to her. And it was just such a rewarding thing to see that, because I know throughout the pandemic that was just so hard for people to be so distant from each other, and we kind of didn't know what was going on. But yeah.
That's great. Also, I guess I wanted to know, or we wanted to know more so, does there is what's it feel like though? Maybe always being the new person, like on the block, every time you go to starting a new assignment.
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, that to me, because I feel like I'm a pretty extrovert person, it hasn't really been an issue. I won't lie to
Mm,
you. I love meeting new people. It's my favorite thing on the planet. Um, I can say that some things that help me in doing that is just, putting yourself out there. Be kind to the people around you, ask them questions. Being new is also pretty terrifying. You don't know if they're going to be receptive to you. You don't know, if they have the same, uh, just the same feelings towards you about you being there. But I think putting yourself out there and just being kind and always offering a helping hand is pretty helpful, right? Because that makes people be receptive to you. Then they start asking you questions, and when you show them your work ethic and that you're there for good reasons, people will pretty much kind of be receptive to that and open to that and continue to kind of be okay with you being there.
yeah. So, and I think this is great insight for our listeners because I think there are a lot of nurses currently who are still contemplating travel nursing if they haven't done it already. Because I think for many reasons, right? I think one
Right.
reason they feel like they need to leave where they currently are, but they don't want to leave nursing. So why
Yes.
not do short stints so I don't get burnt out in that particular place, right? So this is great
Yes.
insight for all of our nurses who are listening and joining us today, and we'll be listening to it again. So how receptive are the staff to you as a travel nurse, and do you find it hard to connect with them when you're there on your assignments?
Yeah, so I've been on about three different assignments thus far. They have all been the
Okay.
vaccination support settings. Um, but people are pretty much receptive. And if they aren't, I kind of pick up on that and I do
Mm.
my part in kind of, you know, again, just being kind and open and just willing to show them that, hey, I'm here for a good reason. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask me for help. This is exactly what I'm here for. Um, and, it's okay if maybe someone isn't as receptive, that's perfectly fine. There are plenty of others who will be so happy that you are there, lending a helping hand. So, again, just putting yourself out there um, is always like my best advice for people.
When you, so I'm someone who might want to consider travel nursing.
Yeah.
What would you recommend nurses maybe go into travel nursing? What are some solids you think a skill set that someone should have? Because I'm not really sure time frame versus skill set, right?
Right.
So what are some of your recommendations since you're doing this? You've been there. You were working in an institution and now you are traveling. So what are some recommendations for us?
Yes. So, one thing is take that leap. Take the leap. I know it's really, really scary. I was absolutely terrified before I took on my first travel nursing assignment. I was feeling like, and I know this is a very normal thing for nurses before they start travel nursing. You feel like, is this going to be the right decision? Is leaving my family or friends behind and everything I've ever known going to be worth it? It is absolutely worth it. The amount of growth that you go through stepping into a different position is the most rewarding thing. I also do know because I've had a little bit of a different experience because have done the vaccination support and not in an actual hospital setting. I have read tons of articles and I've spoken to other nurses having that experience, and I want to say at least 1.5 to 2 years of experience. Um, is important, because when you do get into these different hospital settings, you want to be secure in the knowledge that you know, to be able to handle things very rapidly. You're also not given the same amount of orientation when you are in these different hospital settings on an assignment. You're given way less time to
Mm.
deal with things in a more normal setting, as you would, right? You're kind of just hopping into this, and you're going. So having some good experience, so that you can develop all your skill sets, feeling comfortable enough to perform well in any setting is really important. Um, and I think also just having an open mind and a good attitude towards it will also help you as well.
Yeah, that's great advice for anyone who's considering, or even if it's just started out into travel nursing. Or you're right, there are a lot of things I think that nurses do, they want to do, I should say, and
Mhm.
it's that take that leap that
Yeah.
prevents them from doing something. I think in every aspect, right? If you want to move, if you are a med surg nurse and you want to move to a cardiac ICU and you're just not sure, right? It's taking that leap. And
Yes.
I think one of the great things about Fifth Window and our nursing spotlights is that we have found nurses who have taken that leap, starting their own business, or become coaches in wellness. So I think it's great that we can highlight, and everyone so far has said, taking that leap, right? Believing in yourself. So that, I mean, that's wonderful for just to reinforce what we have all been saying for the last year. Just take that leap and move forward. So, and I would imagine that traveling, you've said there are some great pieces to your traveling, and, there is some stressful times in traveling because it's just a new assignment, or,
Right.
or you're just trying to learn where are things located. Do you feel like you're in
Yeah.
clinical all over again? Like trying to find the med closet. Like, remember when you were in clinical and you went to different sites and you're like, I don't even know where to find the linen closet. And that's, is that
Literally,
kind
that's the feeling. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that being said, how do you then take care of self during those times?
Yeah, I love this question, and I wrote an article that kind of focused on this, because you are stepping into different settings constantly. It is very easy to kind of get lost in that and maybe fall out of a routine that you're really used to at home.
Mm, yeah.
So here are some things that I continuously do, that have helped me and that I can tell that have helped others when I recommend these things. So one, so fitness is very important to me. So I will always find time every single day, or at least 3 times or 4 times a week, to kind of maintain that. I will either find a setting in my home wherever I'm living at to maybe look up a YouTube video. I have my yoga mat with me. I look up classes in the area. Um, just to kind of maintain that, because I know that that makes me feel good. It also helps meeting new people. Also, just maintaining how I eat, because I do know that eating certain things make
Mm,
me feel energized. So, I will do weekly. I stick to my weekly grocery shopping on Sundays, and I'll either pre-make meals, or I'll stick to these like nourishing foods that I know are going to give me the energy and the boost of nutrients that I need throughout the week. I am someone who, for the past couple of years, I've gone to therapy, and that is something that I stick very consistently to. Whether I speak to her once a month, once a week, every 2 weeks, that is something that I know will benefit me. It's something that keeps me grounded, and it kind of just allows me to um, just be okay with my feelings and my emotions and process through things. Um, it's actually really awesome, because I do know the Fifth Window offers these kind of resources to nurses, and I think that's a very amazing thing. Just having the access to things like that. So yeah, I think some of those things will definitely help some nurses on new assignments.
that's great. That's great.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ashley. And the article, we have it right here. So we're going to post the link for this article in the chat and share it with everyone after the recording as well. It's a wonderful, wonderful group of recommendations that Ashley has for anyone who's interested in keeping their wellness routine during a travel assignment. But really appreciate you sharing those tips. And we'll definitely talk a lot more about wellness as well as we get into this conversation. And I
Yeah.
wanted to highlight there's some comments too in the chat. So I'll just invite Michael, our co-founder, to share some of those comments because we'll really take a deep dive here too.
Yeah, yeah, we have a few comments from Farah Laurent. Hi, Farah. She says travel nursing has great benefits and flexibility. She says she recommends getting multiple state licenses for more options, and that most travel nurses get 2 days of orientation. Being adaptable is key.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say too, getting the multiple licenses has been pretty popular too. We've even seen this because of the telehealth options, right, with patients who have been doing video visits, even if their primary provider is in a different state. So that's been really awesome to see. And Ashley, with traveling and with travel nursing, just like what we were mentioning, it's a lot, it's a lot of adjustment, and of course, wellness, like you said, is a huge part of it. And I want to know specifically, was there any certain moments, or was there any certain experience in your personal or professional journey that really led you to focus on well-being? Because it's not something that nurses will, often put out there,
Right.
to talk about.
Yeah,
So any thoughts?
absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And this is me being a little vulnerable too, but I don't mind. Well, one, because I have been in the healthcare industry for a couple of years now. Even from a young early age, I just realized how important it is to take care of yourself, because I saw so consistently of these like chronic diseases that in the back of my head I'm thinking, oh, in some instances, if we were to just take care of ourselves a little bit better, if we were to be a little more conscious of the things that we're putting in our body, if we were to prioritize, maybe a little more fitness or rest, even like just prioritizing certain things can prevent many, many, many diseases. And I realized that just from working in the hospital setting and seeing these things day in and day out. A couple of years ago, I also did go through something it was pretty rough. I just was in this state where I was struggling a lot mentally and physically. Because I was struggling mentally, it was affecting me physically. And I will be vulnerable. I will be honest. I have never felt like that before. I was struggling a lot. I lost a ton of my hair. My hormonal acne completely just blew on me. Like I was just in this state of being where I wasn't balanced. And I remember feeling like, I need to do something about this. And that's where it kind of hit me, like, if I want to continue being better for other people, and I want to continue showing up as my best self for other people, whether that was in the work setting, in the school setting, even for my parents or friends or family, I knew that I had to find it in me to take care of myself. So that kind of is what kind of fueled me into, hey, like I need to be more conscious of what I'm eating. I need to be more conscious of how I'm treating my body and how I'm treating my mental health. Um, which is when I actually started going to therapy, which is actually when I started to be very consistent in the things that I started to eat. And I realized, like, hey, eating more greens or eating more fruits or eating more of this actually made me feel better. It was a very visible thing for me, and I was like, this is amazing. Even with the whole fitness thing, I didn't want to feel sluggish anymore. And I've always been a pretty active person, but at this point, a couple years ago, with how I was feeling, I made it was a conscious effort for me to prioritize my fitness. as we all know, or maybe we don't know, but being physically active will actually boost serotonin levels, and it will produce these endorphins in your body and yourself that make you feel better after. And I was seeing that within myself, and I started working out about 3 4 times, even 5 times a week, because I knew that this was a way for me to feel better and to perform better in everyday life. So um yeah, and after that, um so I want to say about 2 years ago now, I lost someone really close to me due to a heart attack. And I honestly want to say, besides those couple of years before where I struggled, this was also something that it was almost as if someone like kicked me from behind and was just like, you need to focus. Like I continued to do the habits that I was doing, but now um it's almost as if I want to tell everyone that I know, like, hey, being active is important. The things that you eat are so important, because everything that you do and everything that you put into your body affects you. And I just want to continue seeing people live their best lives. And if I can help someone kind of see this before something gets bad, where they can like switch a habit, even if it's something simple. And when I see someone actually doing that, that makes me feel absolutely amazing. It just leaves this impact on me and on the other person that I know, just I can't get a feeling from doing anything else. So yeah.
That's amazing, Ashley. And first, I just want to say thank you so much for being open, for being vulnerable with us. I know that even as advocates of well-being, it still is hard to share our own journeys at times, but I think that makes a real impact, and I really appreciate what you shared. It really resonates, I'm sure, with us and with many of our listeners here. And I did want to say too, I really applaud you for being able to have that awareness, because it is
Thank
hard
you.
even it's really hard to even have the awareness. We might be going through these physical changes in our body. We might be going through these mental changes in our body, but it still can be
Mhm.
difficult to actually pinpoint that as a self-care deficiency, right? Or like a lack of
Mhm.
self-care. And you have taken up some great habits to help promote your self-care. Eating clean, doing a lot of physical activity to promote those endorphins and to have that feeling of wellness. And I was wondering, for a lot of nurses, it might be hard to do some of those steps. So how would you recommend that a nurse can start clean eating, for example, or start doing some more exercising? Because this could feel really like a really big step to overcome sometimes.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Honestly, I've always kind of realized keeping it simple is key, right? So, whether you have all these extravagant ideas of, what you want your body to look like, or what you see your nutrition goal being, keep it simple. If you look in your closet and you want to make that conscious effort to start eating better, maybe if you see maybe a lot of processed foods, maybe take some of them out and maybe replace them with some fresh fruits, some fresh options. Um, or even in the whole fitness thing, like whether you want to start this fitness routine for yourself, keep it simple. You can, I honestly, I used to work out in my garage on a towel with this 5 pound weight that I found at Ross like years ago. Like this, it's so simple, but it honestly made such a big impact. We have all these free resources for ourselves today. Why not use them? Hop on YouTube, read all these articles that are out there for yourself. And it makes me truly so happy that now there are all these apps for nurses and other healthcare professionals out there, like Fifth Window, where you have these free resources for yourself. So go on and just make that account. Take those first simple steps into doing it. And we as humans, I truly feel like we have this opportunity and this freedom to make choices for ourselves. So if you just do a simple healthy choice for yourself and you stick to doing that consistently and you're making those small efforts every single day, that is what adds up, right? So I think that would be my just keeping it very simple and continuously making that conscious effort into doing that. Um, and maybe
Mhm.
at first you may get a little frustrated because you're thinking, "Oh, I don't see a result yet. Oh, I'm not where I want to be." That's okay. You are only human and you will get to that point. So, um, just stick to those small simple steps.
That's great. I really love that because it can be really daunting. You might have this really big goal for your fitness, and then it could be really hard to even just take that first step. Take out that towel and that one dumbbell.
Yeah.
It could be really tough to do that sometimes, but I really like that. Starting small, doing a little bit each day to build up to your goal.
Mhm.
And I'd say just from hearing what you speak, it sounds like the consistency is really the important part here. Even if it's like a little bit a day, I feel like that consistency can really make a big impact.
Definitely.
And I also wanted to mention too, I know that on your Instagram, you're a big, big fan of bone broth, and I wanted to ask if you could share a little bit about that because I think not a lot of people might know about that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This makes me so happy. Um, so I got into bone broth because I was looking for solutions to deal with my gut health and my hormonal acne. I actually don't have like a base right now, so you guys can see hi, this is not what I used to look like a couple of months ago. Um, but I was researching ways to kind of fix my gut health because I knew that my hormonal acne was something that it obviously it stems from the inside out. So I did a ton of research, found some things that would help with gut health and kind of help with inflammatory aspects of hormonal acne. And that was how I got into it. Bone broth is literally what it sounds like. It is, you take a pot, you take some bones from chickens or beef or whatever animal, and you let it. Stir in with some water and you let that boil and you drink the end product. What it does is it protects the gut lining in your small and large intestines. And it protects this barrier that reduces a lot of inflammation in the body. Um, it helps kind of clean out toxins from your blood. It just does all these magnificent things for you. So what I do is every single morning, or at least every single morning, because I do know sometimes I'm rushing out the door and I don't have the time. I pour myself 1 cup of bone broth into a cup. I put it in the microwave for about a minute or 45 seconds, and I drink that. And I truly have seen the just difference in the way that I feel, my energy levels, the way my skin is showing up. I used to feel very bloated before just because of certain foods and that how affect my gut before. My bloating has gone down from it. It's a very amazing, amazing thing to kind of add into your routine.
That's great. I'm also someone who has suffered from hormonal acne or, still suffer from it. So I will definitely try that. Let you know how it goes.
Yay!
But that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to also ask, it's difficult, I think, for some nurses or people in general to define self-care. And I was wondering, do you have a specific definition of self-care that you like to live by, or how would you define self-care, and how would you say it might be different from self-love or self-compassion?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think self-care just means, or at least to me, just means prioritizing
Mm.
yourself. And I mean this in because in any kind of setting, whether you're in the work setting, whether you're in a school setting, or you're at home, or you're outside with meeting different people, it's just making that time to prioritize things that are important to you, that you value. um, Yourself has to come first before anything, because if you're not okay with yourself, whether mentally, physically, it's going to be a little hard to kind of show up as your best self for other people and for the environments that you are in. So just taking that time to prioritize yourself. And um, I think that's how I would pretty much describe it. Just, wanting to prioritize your health or your well-being, and just showing up for yourself is something that I kind of see that as well.
That's great. And thank you for sharing. And I was wondering, during this pandemic, it's been such a challenging time, mentally, physically, and really challenging all of our areas of well-being. Um, you've talked about how you manage your self-care overall. Do you have any specific self-care tools or tips that really helped you or that continue to help you during this pandemic? Since, I know it's been really hard for a lot of nurses in particular.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. I love this question. Um, I, from a couple years ago now, I started just having little morning routines for myself, which has helped a lot. I picked up journaling as something, and that's something that I never used to do. But when I wanted to change for myself, I started picking this up, and I feel like that has helped me immensely. Just when you are putting down your thoughts on paper and you see it visually, and then you read back on it, you see, like, wow, uh, you kind of like allow yourself to go through the motions, and you kind of allow yourself to feel through certain things instead of maybe keeping it down or
Mm.
keeping it to yourself. And I think as a human, processing these emotions is super, super important. We are all human and we just want to continue going with the movement, right? Also, taking time to meditate has also really helped me. And I do this through, different times throughout the day. Sometimes I will do it first thing in the morning when I wake up. I simply sit there. I don't look at my phone. I close my eyes for 3 minutes and I just let my inner thoughts be at peace. I have found that this has helped me kind of get my day started with a clear mind. Sometimes I will do this at night where I want to just unwind and I want to just go to bed feeling a little more at peace as well. So, journaling, meditating, the whole fitness thing every day, whether it's something small or big, that has definitely helped me as well. Um, and I want to say, I will say therapy is something that is super, super, super important. I think, it's very, I always hear people around me say, why do you go to therapy? Why do you need to do that? Like, you're not this and you're not that. And I think that is not the purpose as to why I started. I think anyone can go to therapy. I think getting a non-biased opinion on things, and when you hear things in that perspective with on how you're feeling, it's it's such a relief. Um, just being able to speak through things without being judged from someone is so important. So therapy, journaling, a little meditation here and there. Um, There's also, which I will bring up, through the Fifth Window app, which is amazing. I love using this. Also, I will bring up two things about the app. If you are watching and you're a nurse or another healthcare professional, you need to download this app. It is amazing. It provides tons of resources. I'll speak about two things really quickly. One thing is they have this option where you can check in with yourself every single day. And it's this amazing little just alarm. It pops up on your phone, and it asks you, how are you feeling? And it allows you to take that time to just focus on yourself, even if it's for a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You answer this and you go through the little prompts that it brings you to. And at the end, it gives you resources and little prompts for you to do to make yourself feel better. you can do a little yoga, do a little meditating, do a little journaling. And if you want to go ahead and have these other resources, there's also the BetterHelp partnership that they work with, where it's an online therapy platform. You can sign up, anyone can sign up to this, and you speak through people in private and at your own confidence level. So it's super, super, super amazing. I think having little things like that definitely help with self care. And I think having these resources are something that everyone should just kind of check out on their own and see how beneficial it can truly be for yourself.
That's great. Thank you so much, Ashley. I really appreciate hearing about what you do, what you have done, and what you continue to do during the pandemic. I especially mentioned how you've used therapy as a great tool for your own well-being. I've used therapy, I've used BetterHelp, and probably every like many other therapy platforms. But I do find it so helpful, and there's no one picture of who needs these tools. There's no one picture of someone who needs therapy. I think everyone can really benefit from researching these tools and seeing what really helps benefit them. There's so many resources, but certainly our app has some of those resources that you could check out. I'll just put the link down here so you could see our website, but you could see links for how to download our app at our website at fifthwindow.com, FIFTHwindow.com, for anyone who might be interested. And I wanted to ask you too, Ashley, for advice. What advice would you actually give to new to practice nurses who, might need help, some support with maintaining their mental wellness or their overall wellness?
Yeah, thank you. That's such a good question. Honestly, I want to say is I think it is very easy as a new grad and you're stepping into this dream role that you have always dreamed of to kind of get very focused on that and forget about yourself. I don't want to
Mm.
say everyone does this, but I think it is very easy to do that. And you become so enthralled with just wanting to show up and wanting to do your best, and that's amazing. But I think um, you know, it's important to take those couple of seconds or take those couple of minutes out of every day to kind of just refocus on yourself, and maybe just keep evaluating like, how is this making me feel? How is my performance making me feel? Am I showing up as my best self at my workplace or at my school or to friends and my coworkers? Um, I think just having those little couple of minutes every single day to reevaluate how you are truly feeling about a situation can kind of allow you to go through the process, whether it's orientation or on a new unit, to just kind of rehone in on what you are there to do, and it will allow you to perform better and more efficiently in your new work area.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing. I do love those tips that you mentioned. And I was wondering too, you've mentioned that you've had faced challenges with anxiety in the past. And I also face a lot of challenges with anxiety. Do you have any recommendations for how nurses can cope with their anxiety? Any that have worked really well for you or any that you just like to share?
Yeah, definitely. I am not afraid to admit that I deal with anxiety. I think that's a very normal thing to um I don't want to say it's very normal, but I do want to say that many people do experience this.
Mhm.
And I think some things that have helped me kind of work through that are, I want to say simple things such as, one, when I am feeling like that, I like to acknowledge that myself, and I say to myself, okay, I'm feeling pretty anxious right now. Okay, what can I do? So if I'm in a work setting, I will usually cry it out. I know that's crazy, but I sometimes can get just too overwhelmed with how I'm feeling. And I will simply go to a private space or a bathroom. I'll get a couple tears out and will be good to go. I will also if I'm not in the work area or if I'm just at home or somewhere else, I kind of allow myself to make it a priority to one, let that be known to maybe the people around me, and I will simply ask for, hey, like, I need a couple minutes just to myself, or just making that a priority to let others know, like, hey, you are feeling like this and it's perfectly fine to feel like this, and whatever you need
Mm.
to do, whether you need to be by yourself for a couple minutes, maybe you need to go for a little walk around your neighborhood, maybe you need to listen to some music and dance it out. Just little things like that are very important. And honestly, those are things that I do to help make myself feel better. So hopefully that can help someone else. Um, I just simply allow myself to go through that. Another thing that I do want to say that I do is breathing techniques have also
Mm.
helped me a lot, because I
Yeah.
do know that when I am feeling anxious, it's because I have all these thoughts running through my head and they're going at a million miles per hour. I will simply take a couple minutes to just deep breathe. Honestly, that allows, scientifically, it allows your heart rate to slow down, and it kind of slows down every other process in your body at the time. So you do physically feel better. You don't feel as rushed. And doing that for a couple seconds, or maybe it's a minute or 3 minutes, can definitely help a bit with anxiety.
That's great. Those are all amazing tips, and I do think that first step of acknowledging the anxiety is a really, really big one because I it can be really hard actually to not know at first if you're not especially if you're not familiar, it could be hard to actually not know that you're experiencing anxiety when it does happen. So that's a really important step. And, we're already getting close to the end of the hour, which is, happened so fast. But are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience when it comes to your nursing journey or well-being or anything you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, definitely. Well, one, I just want to say thank you guys again for having me on here, and this opportunity. I think I feel so honored. And two, if you're watching this and you want to pursue nursing or you want to pursue travel nursing, I honestly will say that nursing has been the most rewarding thing I could have ever done for myself. I think you can find a field in nursing that will work for you the best. There's so many different things you can do in this type of career. I feel really blessed to kind of be at a position where I know exactly where I want to be with nursing. I want to continue to gain all the knowledge that I can. My end goal is to continue. With nursing school, I want to go back and get my master's, become a practitioner. I want to focus on integrative medicine and just kind of bring all that knowledge, and share that with other people. Um, and when it comes to wellness and nursing, I honestly just want to say, do what feels best for you.
Mm.
I'm sitting here saying, hey, fitness works for me and this is good. I'm saying, hey, eating healthy for me and this is good. But at the end of the day, that might not work for someone. Maybe working out 5 times a week isn't what makes you feel good. So do what feels good for you. You know, I think that's the most important thing. I don't ever want to make someone feel as if they have to do what I'm doing
Mm.
to feel better.
Yeah.
These are just options that work for me. But at the end of the day, find something that works for you and stick to it. Again, like you mentioned earlier, the consistency is what truly, truly matters. And showing up for yourself and just bettering yourself. So,
That's great. Thank you so much, Ashley. Those are some awesome pieces of wisdom. And I just wanted to share with everyone Ashley's article again on wellness. I just put that in the chat as well as Ashley's Instagram. You could find her at Venturing with A on Instagram. And we'll also put these links afterwards, after the recording's out. We'll share these links with you all too. But just wanted to say thank you so much, Ashley, for joining us today.
thank you so much. I feel so honored again, and I'm so happy that I've been able to just be an exposure to this community and you guys. You guys are amazing, and I'm so thankful for the work that you have done with your app. I think it's truly an amazing thing.
Thank you so much. And we truly appreciate your time here with us today. Um, and just wanted to share with the audience listening, we do have our app that's now live on both Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone and iOS. So if you'd like to download our app, again, here's our link, www.fifthwindow.com. That is FIFTH window.com. And you'll see all of our social media links there too if you'd like to follow us and learn when our next spotlights are. But we do hold these spotlights monthly, so please stay tuned for our next spotlight. And also, we have our GoFundMe campaign. So if you'd like to support us in our mission to promote nursing well-being, please visit us at our GoFundMe page that's shown here. And you could also find that on our website. But thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.